Hello there, everybody. So, look at this cool pawn endgame. There are pawns everywhere. We get six of them, and black has three. So, we are three up. That's good. The little problem is this guy, two steps away from promotion. And obviously, if we try to stop it, if we try to catch it with our king, we're not going to be successful. So, we just have to ignore this and instead focus on winning this with our own pawns in some way. So now you can start analyzing this on your own. Post a video if you need and see if you can find out how white wins from here. Go ahead. Okay, welcome back. So, what are we going to do? Okay, we are not gonna catch this pawn, obviously. So here's a pawn up for grabs. Let's see what happens if we take that one. Black will, of course, run his pawn. And now when we take this one, we are trying to get a G pawn into a queen. Black will promote. We can push to G7. Is this enough to win? Well, it turns out, of course, it's not. Otherwise, I wouldn't show it from the beginning. Let's see. Black will give a check on F1. That's the best one for him. He wants to keep on the light squares because he's going to aim for either of these two pawns. Maybe we go up to G6, try to hide here. From F1, he can come to D3. Now, if we go somewhere like this, you're going to grab this pawn. And after do that, he will cover down on G8. Our rest of our pawns going to fall one by one, and we are going to lose this in the end. So let's back down and see if we can do something else that's better, perhaps. After the check, queen check here on F1, perhaps we should go away something like this. But black will just go up, keeping on the light squares, giving checks. And now if we move behind our pawn, that's of course very bad. We're gonna lose like this. If we go up here, it doesn't matter. He can take here or take here. All pawns are gonna fall, and we are not winning this. Okay, so it's of course a lot of different variations to look at, all the checks everywhere, but it's not going to be the right one to start taking this one. So, okay, what about pushing d6? Here's the idea. Now, let's look at it. If black takes this, well, then we're going to push c7. We're going to promote with a check, and we are winning easy. If he tries to stop it with a king, we will simply play king d7, and well, we promote first with a check. We're going to stop this one. Easy win. But he's, of course, not going to take this pawn. If he tries to get closer with his king to protect here, then we're just going to pass to d7. Next move, we're going to promote with a check, and we are winning also. So after we play d6, black has to ignore that and instead push his own pawn. Now, if we try to pass and get a queen here, black will promote with a check. Now, if we're trying to take this pawn, black will again start checking. F1 or F2, doesn't really matter. We can try to get away from all the checks, something like this, but the queen comes to d4, and now we cannot really, we need to get our king closer to protect our pawn, and now we will start losing all the pawns here with checks. It's going to end up, in the best case for us, a perpetual check and saving a draw. Worst case is going to start taking all our pawns, and we're going to lose this. So let's go back a little bit. Okay, if we instead try to perhaps hide behind his pawn, something like that, that's a very bad idea. Black can then take the pawn on b4 with a check. Now we're forced to take the pawn, and black can continue. We maybe can do different things. Queen d6 looks like a good move also. This is going to be a perpetual check for sure, but actually black can win this instead. He can with check here. That's the best move according to the computer. and follow up with a queen e5 check, and now everything goes really bad for us. We can grab this. Now he's covering. Anyway, this is losing for white, so we're not going to do that either. Okay, so after black plays e2, what happens if we try to take here? Again, of course, black promotes with a check. If we try to protect our pawn, now again it's going to start checking. d1 is the best move. We don't want to block our pawn like this. Perhaps we want to go away, but then we're going to lose this pawn, and he's still covering here. And again, all pawns are going to be lost, and we are losing. So instead, after the queen check here, maybe we should grab the pawn on f6 right away. And this is now getting interesting, because we are looking at a winning variation almost, but not exactly from this position. But the plan here is now black has to stop this pawn, and he can only have 2 checks here on f2. Then we go to g8, and now black has no more checks if he doesn't want to lose his queen, and he cannot really stop the pawn from coming here either. He cannot go anywhere with the queen to stop this, because I mean this is covered by the pawn, and he cannot put anything here on the c file because this pawn is in the way. So we're just gonna win this. So now we're getting into something. Okay, if the black queen checks on f1, then we cannot go here. We don't want to allow the queen check on c4, but instead we go to g7. Now again, there are no more checks for black, but there is a way he can stop the pawn, and that is to play queen a6. Now this is stopping. We have a brilliant move here now, which is b5. We're sacrificing this pawn. He cannot take it. Then we will promote with a check. Instead, he will go to c8. The only move for black to keep on having track on this pawn. And then we push the pawn again to b6. Now threatening here. And you see, the black king cannot move. The queen, if he moves away somewhere, maybe perhaps taking here, well, then we're going to check. Another check. And obviously, this is winning easy. This is the easiest way. Check. Blah, blah, blah. And we are winning. So let's go back. And why is this not the right solution from the beginning? Well, I'll tell you. Because black cannot move the queen to any place, and not the king either, as it looks. But there is a way for black to get a draw out of this. And that is, of course, just sacrificing his queen. Check here, or here, or here. It doesn't matter. If we grab it, it's a stalemate. If we don't take it, we're in trouble. Because then we're actually going to lose this. Something like this. And he can start checking. And sooner or later he's going to check, grab this pawn, and then get this king up here. And then we're going to lose all the pawns. So we are forced to really take this and just settle for the draw. So that is what happens. Now we start from the beginning. That is what happens if you start pushing this pawn right away, which is not the right solution. It looks good, but in the end, black has a very beautiful queen sacrifice to get a draw in a stalemate attempt. So finally, now for the correct starting move. We are going for the same idea, but we have to start with sacrificing the pawn on g6. And this will become clear soon enough. Okay, if black just ignores this and push e2, then we don't bother about the f7 pawn. It's very good to have there. It's blocking black queen. And now we can hide on d7 with our king. Now look at this. Black has no more checks. There's no way he can stop this pawn from promotion. And the best he can do is just grab something like this. And obviously now we are 2 pawns up, and this is an easy win for us. Let's go with perhaps, I don't know, queen d8. Attack this pawn. Perhaps he can do a check. We hide on c8, and now we are forcing a queen exchange, or otherwise we'll take care with a check, and this is winning easy for white. So after we first sacrifice our pawn on g6, black cannot ignore it. He's forced to take it and see what happens. And now we go with this plan. d6, e2 again. Do not push the pawn. We need to take here. We need to stop the black king from coming closer. And we need to get somewhere to hide our king. This will happen again. We will play king f7. It's just the same idea. If the check comes on f2, then we hide on g8. Black cannot stop this pawn from promotion. He cannot put the queen anywhere. He cannot give us another check. So that's winning from there. And if the check comes on f1, we still play king g7. We do not take this pawn. We play the king to g7. The queen cannot check anywhere. Instead, the only way to stop it is this. And we looked at this before. Beautiful b5 sacrifice. The queen has to come to c8. We push to b6. And the difference now is that all of a sudden there is a potential legal move for black with his pawn to g5. This stops him from sacrificing the queen now. We just take it, and then he has a move. And of course, this is winning. Well, I was about to play b7. I think it's better to just promote and give it checkmate. Let's get a rook. That's the most beautiful. So after this position, black can just resign because we're giving him the opportunity to have a legal move. And of course, if he does that right away, well, this is easy win. We can take here. This is not stalemate. Black can come here. And of course, this is winning from here. So all in all, back up from the beginning, we have to start with this subtle little sacrifice before we go on with the main plan on playing d6. That's how we solve this beautiful pawn endgame, and I know this is a hard one. Let's see how many of you made it. Please write a comment if you managed to solve this or not. If you didn't, well, come back tomorrow. I will give you another study and another chance to crack a puzzle of mine. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Bye bye.